Good morning, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It's a breezy day in eastern Kentucky. Lots of clouds. We are expecting some rain later today, like around 5 o'clock, but you never know, the way they predict weather around here. But I hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday, April 29, 2025. And this is the ditch line that the magistrate authorized to be dug up, even though they have no legal easement on my property. And even though if they did, they violated it in 2 instances, right? So the county has actually violated an easement ordinance, an easement law, or whatever you want to call it here in Kentucky. So here you have the ditch that they were supposed to be cleaning it from the leaves, but no, they did not clean the leaves. They did not remove the leaves. What they did was they dug up a portion of my property. They widened the ditch line and dug it deeper. And it did not need that, because this ditch line, because it's on an angle, was depositing in that culvert. If they wanted to do something, they should have dug up the county creek over there with all that rock that fell into it and moved it back into place, rather than raise the waterbed to flood my property. And also, in flooding my property, it can also flood the county road. But of course, it would be flooding the county road by my property, not anybody else's. So here we have not had any rain, but you can see the water has accumulated here, and it's not going anywhere. You know why it's not going anywhere? Because they changed the incline of the ditch line so that the water is depositing here, it's staying here, which means that in the summertime it'll end up evaporating. But you can see here, the leaves are still here, water has accumulated here, and they damaged my property here by digging up tree roots and rock. But that's not actually the primary reason I wanted to record this video. I hope everybody's doing well. I just want to show you. You see that rock? That rock was not there. That rock was part of my landscape that they moved. So that was supporting rock of this ditch line wall, including here and here. You see the water is just hanging out here. Water is just depositing here. It's not going anywhere. It's dry here. But again, this is really not what I want to show you, but I'm glad I have it on recording here. So this is what they did. They exposed the root systems here. Exposed the root systems, but we're getting to the good part. And you see all the water has still deposited here. Still here. It has not rained. Still here. Exposed all the root systems. And Travis had this big rock here. And of course, they went around the rock, but they still damaged the ditch line. You notice the leaves are still here. They have not moved the leaves. Oh, and here's one of the bitchcraft. Bitchcraft. Here and here. You see it here? Okay, so we're getting to the good part here. So this is how the county, Jackson County, Kentucky, they damaged their own county roads. And this is right opposite the property that's 3.1 acres listed for sale. Next to my neighbors right there. Yeah, you can live next to my neighbors. But anyway, if you were building on this property, you most likely build like over there. Because I cleared it over there, and it's actually beautiful. Surrounded by trees, lovely, lovely. But here, this is what they did. And this happened over the weekend, by the way. This happened sometime between Saturday and Monday. And the reason I say that is because on Sunday, I kept the gate closed, and I did not walk down here on Sunday. So this is what they did. I'm going to show you here. And oh, look at where it is. It's in the ditch line. It's in the ditch, look. And then they did this. So you know that this is going to end up cracking, right? And I'm going to show you here. You see here. This is, they have prematurely aged the county road here. And here they're cracking it. And you know why they're cracking it? Because I have surveillance people hanging out here all the time, crossing over it. So you see, they did not remove any leaves. There's no leaves removed here. None. But here's the water that's standing still here. I have never had this before. I've never had water standing still. Look. Because they changed the incline of the ditch line. Now you're going to see here all the tire marks. Now my property ends near this fence here. So this is what they did, and you see all the tire marks here. Look. This is where they drop people off here, and they walk in the back of my property to surveil me. They also have a surveillance person hanging out here. You can see the tire marks here. So that they're still trespassing my property when they're here. Look. Exposing the root systems. Look. Exposing the root systems, cutting them up. Looks like an eyesore, right? Look. And then what they did is they threw all the mud onto my property, preventing the foliage from growing. Tire marks right here. Tire marks. And look, water still here. And this is still my property, and you can see the rocks have moved out of place. And the property ends here. There is a survey marker here somewhere. There it is. You can see the survey marker right there. It's pink. Right there. And this fence post is over the survey marker, which means that it's my fence post. And I didn't come down this far yesterday, so I see a twig here, a branch here that I'll be picking up after I end this. And you could see, though, you see it's cracked here. But then when we get down here, nothing's going on. Nothing's going on down here. Oh, well, it is cracked around here. It is cracked here. We've got some holes over there. But it's usually quiet. It's actually a very pretty area. When you're not a targeted person, this would be a great place to live. In fact, that's why Travis moved back here. After he retired from General Motors in Ohio, he moved back here. This was his hometown. And then he built his little village there and lived here for 30 years, just the way I lived for 30 years at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey. So actually, let me pick up this branch. I just saw it. 1 second, here you go. I have a cup of coffee in my left hand. And here, bitchcraft. Bitchcraft. And people say, oh, don't touch it. Well, you know, I don't have my gloves with me, so that's what we do. So, yes, and I've spoken to other people who have retired and moved back here, and they love it. But they've also told me that when they moved here, they make sure to have nothing to do with neighbors. I see a branch I've got to pick up over there. And I think that's a wise idea. When I spoke to the Kentucky Department of Forestry, I guess a couple of years ago, I had them look over my property and tell me about my trees and terrain and stuff. They've actually been here a couple of times. See, look at that. This is what the criminals do. Oh, and I see a bottle, a green bottle of something there. How did that get there? I'm living here 6 years. Looks like somebody threw a green bottle over there. They use my property as a trash bin. There's another tree that fell down there. But yes, a lot of people move back here. Why? For a lot of reasons. One, it's very affordable. I mean, I complain about the electric. The electric and the internet is ridiculous. It costs way less in New Jersey. And I had more features in New Jersey. When I moved here, I pay more just for internet than I paid in New Jersey for Fios, high speed. I had like the highest speed internet connection and a landline for less than I'm paying here for just internet. Excuse me, for internet. My water bill here is ridiculous. And meanwhile, we have so much water here. I mean, you've seen my videos of how much it rains and how moist and dewy it is here. All you have to do is put out a barrel and you'll have free water. It doesn't rain as much in New Jersey. It's not as dewy there. It's not as moist. So here you go. Welcome to my island. Created by Jackson County Road Department. And look at that eyesore. 9 months, well actually now it's going on 10 months, that this was dumped here. What an eyesore, right? It would have been better if they just left it the way it was. All that rock that's down there, they should have brought a backhoe. And you can see now all the foliage that's growing there, and you can see how tall it is. It used to be about a foot higher than it's supposed to be. Now it's going on to about 2 feet, maybe even more than that. But yeah, it's about 2 feet. And see, the trash is still here. I'm pretty sure that they leave it there to indicate that this is my property, that I'm the targeted person. Here, let me show you. And all that is fake erosion. Accelerated, fake erosion. That they did. Right there. For all you homeowners out there, you know what I mean. Yeah, so this is what they did here. And meanwhile, like, I cleaned this up already, and this is what they do. They keep putting 1, 2, 3. I cleaned this up already, but it's here again. Every day, all the time. It's ridiculous. So anyway, there was something else I wanted to say. Okay, so early this morning, I posted Deborah Florian's, my West Virginia horror story part 8. Girl, you've got to read more targeted books. Don't move around so much. It's advised to stay 4 years. Where if you're a targeted person, stay 4 years wherever you are. Don't let these losers run you off your property. Don't let the losers run you off your property. Because the longer you stay, the more evidence you'll collect against them. And I see popcorn in the middle of in the driveway here. So this is what it looks like here today. So yes, a lot of people like to retire here. They like to retire because the property taxes are so low. You can get a lot of acreage of land, a lot, for, you know, so much less than other parts of the country. Although I will tell you that since I'm living here, the land has definitely increased in value. And also across the country. While real estate in some places has decreased, land has increased. And especially land with, mountains and woods and streams and even a county creek. Because honestly, when we have a lot of rain, if I didn't have a county creek, there would be no place for the water to go. But because there's a county creek, the county creek actually moves the water. It moves the water out of here. And literally, if it stops raining within an hour, it gets dried up just like this. So if it rains continuously, then the creek is overflowed, but it's still moving. That's the key. It's still moving. Where there are a lot of parts of the Midwest that are flat, the water doesn't move. It doesn't have anywhere to go. So it's actually better to live near water because it's moving somewhere. It's designed, naturally designed to move by gravity. So yeah, I've thought about it. Meanwhile, my camera, I've moved it to my left hand, and now I've got to move it back to my right because I'm a righty. So it's actually better to live near some stream or creek because the water is moving. When you're living on flat lands in the Midwest or not around the mountains, it's got nowhere to go. It just stays there, sort of like that place in Kentucky. What was it, London? I'm forgetting where it was. There are a couple of places in Kentucky that flooded. And it flooded because it's flat. There's nowhere for the water to go. Well, let's go see what the guineas are complaining about. These are the goofiest birds. I mean, I'm sure there are others, like ostriches and emus and stuff. These guys, they're very charming. They can be charming, but they act like they're like teenagers a lot. They do their own thing. They're not good listeners. They don't want to go to bed at night. They don't want to go in the coop. There's always like one or two that doesn't want to go in. Right? And this one here is a younger one. This one was born last year. Was it last year? It might have been early last year. So this is a youngin'. These are the older guys. They came from McMurray's hatchery is where I got my little guinea Keats. They're called Keats, Keets. I don't know why. They're little chicks. Chicks as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so thank you for coming on the tour with me, and look at these silly birds. When it's raining, I could understand why they would hang out on the porch. But I don't know what they're doing. And there's Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty belonged to a targeted guy. Yeah, and Miss Kitty's been here about 3.5 years, maybe. She came with 2 boys, Rex and another cat whose name I don't remember because he didn't last very long. This targeted guy was not who he said he was. I actually had to have him removed by the sheriff's department. And what he did, I'm going to tell you flat out what he did. He brought his 3 cats here. He shows up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And me being the nice person, I cook for him, all right? He did not want his cats mixed in with mine in the cats building. So I put them in one of the other buildings. And one of them got lost inside of the building, inside the wall, and it ended up dying. I just hate to say it, but I mean, I know cats and I know what should have been done. They should have been in their pet carriers in my cat's building overnight, but he didn't want that. So that's what happened. And then Miss Kitty and Rex. Miss Kitty does not want to be inside, but Rex did. So Rex came inside and then they experimented and then killed him. So, but I still have Miss Kitty. But I'm going to sign off for now. Those are all my Chewy boxes. We have not been able to burn anything here. We had a burn ban. So I'm going to sign off for now. I hope everybody's doing well this Tuesday. And I'm going to say, hear the chickie poos? Okay.